guys, welcome to our webinar on unleashing the power of AI and how it empowers business transformation and Web3. I'm delighted to have you all here today and explore the exciting intersection of AI and Web3 and how they are transforming businesses. AI has been the most significant technological advancements of the last decade, and it has already begun revolutionize various industries. As businesses continue to explore potential of AI, it is essential to understand how it can be leveraged to enable business transformation and innovation. And for that, we have our esteemed speaker with us who is joining us today. Welcome, Catherine. Catherine, if you can give a quick introduction of yours.
Of course. Hello, good day. My name is Catherine Brinkman, and I've been with Dale Carnegie for about 15 years. And during that time, I took a brief hiatus from selling. I was always a trainer, but I actually did sell robotic process automation software into back office within hedge fund and private equity, as well as enterprise level contact centers. And that's where I really fell in love with AI and learned so much about this new technology. And I've just sort of become a fan and followed it since 2016. So thanks for having me today.
Perfect. Thank you for joining. So, guys, we hope this webinar will provide you the valuable insights into the power of AI and Web3 and how they can be leveraged to transform your business with your business. So, yeah. So, without further ado, Catherine, please share your expertise with us. The platform is completely yours.
All right, thank you. So today what we're going to take a look at is actually how we can utilize AI to really empower business and have a higher level of experience offered to our customers as well as our employees by using digital transformation and Web3 and the SharePoint of knowledge. So when you think about this, what we're going to take a look at is really what is 2023 having in store with AI. There's already been drastic changes based on a few of the chat situations. As you all know, there's some drama around that. We'll talk a bit about that, as well as just what are the benefits for AI for business, what are the use cases, and then let's talk a little bit about the adoption challenges as well as strategies, and then more about AI and human intelligence, how they'll partner and actually work together. What are some future ideas around AI in business, and then we'll take a look at our key takeaways. So just a brief history of AI. It actually started in the 1950s. A lot of people think that it is relatively new. It is not. And AI does stand for artificial intelligence, and that really does come to fruition due to computer systems that can perform tasks that require human intelligence. So it's helping us focus more on the cognitive tasks rather than the mundane tasks. So there's current applications such as natural language processing, image and speech recognition, chatbots, and then there's also recommended systems. And you can also start to automate trading. And when you take a look at innovation within healthcare, manufacturing, and transportation, there's so much that's going on, as well as finance. Why is it even relevant? So AI takes those routine tasks and it automates them. Think of if you are filling out a form that's an insurance form, or if you're filling out some type of document such as a tax return over and over and over. Imagine you can train your computer system to do that for you and just highlight when you have an error. That's what AI can actually allow. So then you have an opportunity to focus more on your customers because you're giving your business that competitive edge to offer a better CX experience than if you're doing all the data entry and focusing on that and not the people. So the benefits really are efficiency. Doesn't really make mistakes, right? It can work 24 hours a day. We as humans cannot. We might try, but we cannot. Because of that, we're able to, again, focus on the personalized service, getting to know our clients as individuals, as well as it helps us focus, again, on what are some new insights and trends for our organization, our industry, as well as what are some of our client needs. So we can then continue that partnership with existing clients and also focus on new business areas that we can generate more revenue. We also take a look at how it can help us enhance decision-making processes. Just because there's so much coming at us all the time constantly, with AI, it can help us process a huge amount of data very quickly. It also does reduce labor cost errors, and it leads to a cost savings, because with everything that's happening in the world, people are not working as much. And ultimately what's taking place is when we have more automation, there is less strain on those employees that are in the office. You're not seeing those errors and there's less waste. So as a company, you're actually improving your ROI. One of the key things that is most important is AI really streamlines operations and it positions businesses for future success. So if I have a process that I've fine-tuned and it's data entry and it takes a lot of time, or there's a ton of analytics that comes in and I'm processing all of that information in a spreadsheet or having a team do it, imagine if I can just streamline my process, know exactly what I want those analytics to reveal, and target my AI to focus just on that process and take it, run a report, and it can happen within minutes rather than days. So then I can then focus more on my future part of business and not the then and now. I can take the then and now information and forecast into the future on what the need might be moving forward. There's a lot of use cases for AI. Customer service, that's where I really did learn a lot about robotic process automation, both unattended and attended. So when it comes to customer service, when you're calling in, imagine that AI can then pull up your account within your database automatically just by recognizing the phone number. The name pops up. So when that customer service agent is speaking, all of a sudden they know your name. They're not having to look for it because it's already popped up on the screen. There's also excellent opportunities for notes to be shared and little key highlights of what was the past interaction that that customer may have had. So that representative can also then comment on past experiences, increasing your VOC and your CSAT scores. It's also great for marketing and advertising. When we really look at the last few weeks, looking at open source AI and how we're sharing more and more information, yes, some people are saying, oh, well, it's going to take my job away. Really, it's helping because you can input and ask for a certain concept or theme to be written. The draft is there for you. You can then go in and augment that draft and make it sound like you. So it's saving sometimes hours. You can go in and spend 20 minutes, fine tune it, and really make it sound like your own. And of course, fraud detection, huge in cybersecurity. Just the amount of, I'm thinking about how many times you may be pinged when someone's trying to hack an account and how that just is automated. And AI can sit and pick up on that and then constantly match whenever that hacking capability is trying to come in. It also is able to recognize keystrokes, voice detection to see if anything is not quite right, rather than having a human where it may take days to really pick up on that. This is instantaneous within seconds rather than minutes. When we come to supply chain management, especially when we're forecasting, when you take a look at all of the different things that are happening when it comes to supply chain, regardless of industry, when you're able to look at those analytics in real time much faster, you can make split decisions on, do you need to have another type of products to replace? Do you need to have a change order? Do you actually need to just go ahead and say, hold on, let's rethink about this and put a project on hold? Also, when it comes to supply chain management, when you think about loading things in regards to cargo ships, in regards to packaging, Amazon warehouse, Walmart, you're able to actually have a robot, which is a piece of artificial intelligence, take care of loading these things much faster and more efficient than we as humans can. And those robots are able to work 24 hours a day. Again, we can't. When it comes to predictive maintenance, you can just go ahead and train your system to do its own maintenance. And with machine learning, you can actually then teach that robot to start to really focus on how you can tweak your process if it notices different aspects of something that maybe is not working well. So when we have predictive maintenance, you're not having to worry about if there's a bandwidth problem, if there's some type of, I always call it a fire drill within an application that you're offering as a company. With predictive maintenance, there may be a fire drill where it's a hands on deck, focusing on that one issue. And in the background, AI is continuing to run operations and update as needed without any human intervention. When it comes to human resources, when we start to look at predictive behavioral routing, when we start to think of how are we able to really place people and make sure that they're fit for our company, that's where we can start to also have AI scan resumes, look for keywords. There's even in the US currently, and I'm sure other areas as well, what's happening is that first round of interviews is actually being conducted on the phone by a robot. It's all automated. So there's certain questions that are asked, they are processing, they're forwarding that to a human, where again, you're looking at keywords and key analytics on what's getting picked up. And that's how you're able to have stronger job placement with your colleagues in your companies. When we go to adoption rates, this is where it can get tricky once in a while, just based on the fact that there are some challenges. People really don't like change. So there could be lack of experience when we start to think of the generations that are in the workplace, and now with Gen Z coming in, and when you have some of those retiring boomers, there's a lack of experience around AI and how to use it effectively. There's some fear of job loss. And then there's also the privacy concerns. So when you think of lack of experience, some people just are not as computer savvy as others. So they start to think like, oh, okay, do I have to have like an engineering degree? No. There also may be a fear of job loss, because when you think of Chat GPT, all of a sudden people in marketing are saying, well, wait, I'm not going to have a job anymore. Even within my industry, a few people have said recently, so wait, is there going to be a robot that's going to go ahead and take our place as trainers? And no, because there still has to be some type of human interaction, really, quote unquote, controlling the engineering side of it. So they'll always have human interaction. And then also when it comes to data privacy concerns, because there is so much that is being captured, some people find that it's intrusive and they worry about things that may come up later. I know here in the States, it's very much around health. And when you are going in for some live scans, or you have questions about different genetic traits, and then if they come up, well, okay, so now you're going to data model, and what if you're not going to insure me medically later in life? So those are some of the challenges when we come to adopting AI, both internally as the workforce and externally as the client that potentially may have those data privacy concerns. And then when we start to actually take a look at the strategies, really it's about upskilling our employees. When we take a look at automated trucks that are going to be driving and doing deliveries, you're having 3 to 4 trailers. You're still having one human truck driver, if not 2, on those convoys. And they are being trained on how to monitor and maintain that software. So you're upskilling your employees. And this can be done by training programs, and it really will help you as a business owner separate who are the people that are willing to adopt quickly and adapt and be flexible, and those that are not that interested in doing such. Another strategy is, how are you able to actually address employee concerns? And I see there's a question in the chat, and we'll get to that in a minute. Addressing these employee concerns is really just having conversations around it, making sure that you communicate the benefits and really take control of that emotion piece. When people think, great, you're taking my job, that's, that's not great. That's a little upsetting. So being able to actually have those concerns addressed, have open dialogue with your team members, so then they know that there are so many benefits to AI where it's, again, you can become more people focused within your job function and really do more of the fun stuff, as I like to call it. So you're brainstorming more, you're thinking on how to solve problems, decision making quickly, because you're not having to go through and look at all the analytics or all of the information from your client relations management system. The AI just takes care of it and it pops right up. And then also there are a lot of different ways ethically that people are starting to pick up on how are we going to ensure data privacy. And when you start to think of Meta and what's happening there, and then with TikTok, of course, there are a lot of safeguards that are going to be put in place in the coming months to go ahead and make sure that we as the consumer are protected. Did you want me to go ahead and answer some of these questions now? Because I know I see 2 in the chat. Let me know.
Oh, no, we'll answer them in the end. Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks. So also, when it comes to the human intelligence part, it's really a partnership. It's a combination, right? We are building it and creating it, and we're also going to be maintaining it. And only we can really unlock the full potential and see how we can improve those customer experiences, how we can generate more revenue, how are we able to see a little bit of the piece of a process that maybe we think we can tweak. Well, all of a sudden we can in real time very quickly make that change and adapt. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, okay, we have an opportunity to spend more time and really think about how we can streamline, because AI is helping us. Making sure that we integrate effectively is key. Businesses need to define their goals first. Again, share with their employees, open dialogue, and have group discussions around what's coming on their roadmap for the technology within an organization. Train their team. That's something that gets missed so much within this new topic of AI. And I say topic because it's new for people. Yes, it's been around since the 1950s. It's really come a long way. And even with IBM's Watson, which was in the 2000s, that seems like eons ago with COVID. Things have changed so drastically. So making sure that you are conveying as a business owner that, hey, we're here for our team and we're going to train, we're not going to leave you behind. And then also we have to make sure that we are monitoring and evaluating performance. Things are changing so rapidly that we need to continually check in with our people to make sure that they're up to date. They understand what some of those privacy clauses are, what's legal, what's not, what's a gray area, as well as making sure that they're comfortable with the technology and using it correctly. So this is how businesses are really able to unlock opportunities, take more pride in their customer service, and engage within their own team because they have more time to develop and upskill in other ways as well, rather than day to day to day, and you're in the moment, you can start to be more forward thinking. That really is a big piece of how we can collaborate with AI as humans. What's the future of business? Well, we're going to be streamlining those processes. It's going to increase efficiency drastically. As I mentioned, I've worked with some accounting firms and placed RPA in them. And ultimately, instead of doing one tax return for 20 minutes, you're doing 20 tax returns in under 5 minutes. You're highlighting where's the error. That then gets kicked to a human to go figure out, okay, is this number correct? Is that deduction correct? Let me call the client and make sure. So it's real time on that sense. And then also the customer is thinking, wow, this is fantastic. I have someone very quickly asking me questions about my return, and I'm able to make sure that I'm submitting the proper paperwork and the proper numbers to the IRS here in the States. So we also are able to personalize things. having different dashboards, different colors. There's different technology within AI that's able to pick up on speech recognition in your tone and your mood. So it'll change the background color of your dashboard. It might start to play music. There's even some software within some chatbots that are used on college campuses where it will detect if there's certain words that are used over and over. Is the student stressed? It can actually alert campus police or campus, whoever the guide is on your residency floor. They can then check on you. No one knows anything. You haven't said anything. It's just your tone and how you are, the words you're using when you're typing into the chat, as well as with vocal intonation when you can actually do speech to text, that picks up on it. So that really does come to the personalization piece. And then the decision making, just there's so much data that's coming at us. It's all about analytics and data capture. We cannot literally absorb all of it ourselves. AI helps us segment, process quickly, and then build those reports in what used to take weeks, we now can do in hours. And the customer experience, more and more people are talking about when they buy something, they want an experience. They want to understand it's not just a widget anymore. What is the company? What is the value of the company? How do they treat their employees? So again, when you're calling into a contact center or you're logging in to use a chat, the chat can actually remember when you log in, oh, this is what happened last time when Catherine had a problem. This is what she needed help on. So in reality, you can train this chatbot within customer service to then ask a follow-up question. So last time you connected with us, the problem with your phone was the battery wasn't charging. How is the battery now? Whereas maybe I called in for a shattered screen. So it's remembering that I had a battery problem. It's asking me how it is, which then makes me think, oh, wow, you really value my experience because you're asking me how the last challenge was fixed. And yes, there is going to be industry disruption. There is a meme that's going around where they're saying that they don't want to allow Chat GPT on college campuses. And then there is a picture of a professor saying he didn't want to allow a TI-85 calculator in his math class in the 80s. And now Texas Instruments calculators, they're almost obsolete at this point because technology is taken over. So it is going to be disruption. It will help companies gain a competitive edge for those that adapt quickly and then adopt the technology and use it to their advantage. When we get to the ethics, this is a piece that's becoming more and more important because we're always trying to do more, see how we can push the boundary. So again, there are a lot of committees within different government organizations around the globe that are starting to look at, okay, what is getting captured? What is really happening with that data that we're capturing? How is it affecting society? And then people are starting to put stopgaps in the amount of time you can be on different apps or the amount of content that's viewed. And then there's also trigger warnings, a lot more in the recent year based on past feedback that people were reacting to what they were seeing. So AI is doing all of that. Also with ethical considerations, there are full certifications you can actually get and go in as a consultant and then take a look at what are they trying to automate, how is machine learning and AI going to fit together, and then ultimately what's something that's borderline and maybe you are capturing too much data or you are doing something with your employees where you might be using it to track different activities that they're doing and then use it against them later. So that's part of the ethics that we're seeing now with these certifications, partnering with these companies to make sure that the processes they're putting in place with AI are ethical. So AI really is a game changer. It takes those routine tasks and just we don't have to do them anymore. We can just really have fun, focus on our colleagues, focus on the big picture and the roadmap of our organization, as well as focus on our customers. New possibilities. Innovation is key, and that's both with AI and what it's capable of. That's also with what does your industry and what does your business actually do. So it helps you make the time to create those new products, have new services, and increase your revenue streams. It's a holistic approach. It's going to involve everything. It's going to involve an actual money investment, as well as there's going to be some adoption, implementation, training, and then a full culture shift to make sure that AI is viewed as an ally and not a detractor within your organization. So we're going to take some time for some questions. And the first question that I see in the chat is, how can business ensure that they are choosing the right AI technology to meet their specific needs and goals? So that's where really partnering with someone in your organization that, one, bring in both the engineering side as well as, quote unquote, the end user. So someone like me that is not as tech savvy in regards to actually programming and coding, but they'll be using it. Have them in the same room. Then have different, maybe 2 or 3 companies come in, demo what their process is for their automation, run a proof of concept. Be very clear when you have a proof of concept. Don't pick a full process. Maybe pick 6 or 7 steps of a process to really fine tune and see what's possible. From there, you can then scale for your full goals. Also, just make sure that you're fully transparent with that consultant that's in there on what are some of the fears that your people may have, your workforce may have around AI, because then they can also really help lessen that emotional blow and make it the adoption rate a lot higher. And then examples of AI are useful in manufacturing industry. Definitely. When I think of some food processors, they actually are now able to calibrate if the bearings are clean on a, let's say you're manufacturing some kind of deli meat or cheese, anything like that, and there's an assembly line and you're slicing things, there's ball bearings in there. AI then is able to go in and actually make sure that it's clean and up to standards. There's a lot of areas within manufacturing where there are dangerous situations. If you're dealing with chemicals, if you're dealing with heat, well, you can send a robot in to go ahead and be the scout, quote unquote, and check to see what's going on. And then oftentimes you're actually able to help program, because if you're the subject matter expert, you help program that bot on what it should look for. And then if it's safe for an actual human to go in, or if the bot can fix it itself. Those are 2 examples. I did discuss just warehouses within Amazon. So loading, so you're cutting down on any work injury situations. You're able to have more product move because you do have those bots moving faster. And when it comes to AI, even with manufacturing, you can start to notice trends a lot faster. So if you're in clothing, you can start to see what type of cloth is being used most, what's trending, how you can source. So again, that's helping with supply chain. Any other questions?
Yes, I have with me. Uh, my first question to you, Catherine, would be like, what are some ethical consideration that businesses should keep in mind when using the AI?
This came up actually last week, where it is something about how do you track a new employee, and if they grow, they start out maybe they start out as a 1. Are you going to hold that against them later as they grow? That was something that came up, because the AI can then predict and say, okay, well, this is a good employee, quote unquote, and this is not. So they're starting to think about, okay, well, how much information are we going to save on that individual? And then when does it happen that maybe analytics are too analytical and they're not taking into account the amount of effort that employee is working on to improve? That's one thing that came up.
Perfectly. And I think that businesses should keep in mind the ethical considerations such as fairness, transparency, privacy, and accountability when using AI. Like they should ensure their AI system do not perpetuate biases, be transparent about the use of AI, and handle data in a way that respects privacy rights and accountable for the decision made by the AI system. Like beautifully answered by you as well. My next question to you is that how can businesses overcome the like fear of job loss among employees when adopting AI? Like,
It
yes,
really starts with going directly in and saying you're not losing your job, because people really think that they're going to get laid off. So it's really explaining, okay, here's some areas that I see where we're having challenges, we're spending too much time. We're going to bring this technology in to help focus on how do we fix that so you can have more time to go focus on our customers or innovating for new products. So that's first and foremost. The second is making sure that you are very crystal clear and transparent about how it's being used with regards to privacy and data capture. And to your point, the biases, that it's not going to be used against employees later. And then a third thing that I'll say is it's very important to get input on how they want to be trained on it, not force feeding your way of how they want to be trained on it, but get their input on what do they want to know. So it's much more collaborative and they have buy-in faster because they're part of the response.
perfect. Yes, exactly. And talking about adoption of AI, my next question comes around that like how can companies ensure that their use of AI does not violate the data protection regulation or compromises any sensitive customer data?
That's where AI can actually come in with the cybersecurity aspect, because you can constantly set where the parameters, if there's any odd activity that's input, it automatically flags things. So while people are nervous about, okay, well, what's being captured, AI is actually doing a lot of protection, and we're getting aware of when things are hacked and there's breaches much faster than we used to.
Absolutely. And I think that companies can ensure the use of AI does not violate the data protection regulation or compromise any sensitive customer data, like by implementing strong data protection policies or by obtaining appropriate consent for the data collection and use and their use, and also like investing in secure storage and processing of data and regulating or auditing their AI systems to identify and mitigate any potential risk. Like it is important for the companies to stay up to date with evolving data protection regulations and adapting the AI systems accordingly. Talking about the emerging trends of AI, I want to ask like what are some emerging trends in AI adoption? Like how do you see them shaping the future of businesses?
I really do think with Chat GPT, the fact that you're able to ask for, anything, give me the history on Tata, and a full report will be created within seconds, really. And then I can go in and say, okay, I don't like the way this sentence looks. Let me do this. Okay, this part of the history of Tata is missing, so let me add this. It saves us so much time as humans that we can then sort of spice up our language when we're writing and communicating. I think another thing that is trending is this open source, where it's not exclusive anymore. We're really
Exactly.
sharing ideas. And with blockchain, with crypto, I mean, it's revolutionized how the banking system is looking at money. When you look at digital IDs within India and China, it's all on your phone. I mean, it's just so easy
Everything.
to, yeah. So it's so easy to digitize, so things can be processed much faster. And with COVID, it just accelerated everything in regards to digital transformation and being remote. So that's one aspect that I think is really important, is how we're able to focus on the open source and sharing of ideas as we come together. The world's getting smaller, so sharing within cultures, within organizations, within countries, all types of backgrounds. That's what we need right now.
Exactly. And additionally, I guess AI adoption is likely to be lead to the creation of job roles and opportunities for upskilling and reskilling, as well as ethical consideration around the use of AI and its impact on society as well. So that comes to my final question. Like, what are the skills that are most important for professionals looking to pursue a career in AI? And like how they can develop those skills like in today world?
I think there's twofold. There's the people side, so it's really having empathy because again, people are afraid of it. You keep hearing robots are going to take over the world. So it's having empathy and putting people's mind at ease that it's here, AI and ML is here to make our lives easier. It's not to ruin it. Another aspect is just to make sure the ethics part, that there are consultants that can come in that are certified, that can take a look. The transparency that you mentioned, if someone has a question, making that psychologically safe environment to say, I don't know, is this okay? Are we pushing the boundaries here? So that's the people side, right? And then there's obviously the tech side. So it's making sure that you are current, like you mentioned, keeping up on those certifications. And I think focusing on the tech side when it comes to privacy, starting to really focus on what are some of the threats that we have and forward thinking on how can we manage those threats and what might be coming later. So it really is about just remaining current on the tech side on how to code.
Perfectly, beautifully answered. And guys, as you may be aware that the field of Web3 and AI is expanding and evolving swiftly, and there has been never better time to start a career in AI or be a AI expert today. So we are pleased to announce that on April 22nd and 23rd, we'll be hosting an interactive live training for those who wish to expand their knowledge on AI and acquire practical skills applicable to their work or business. So also check out the AI expert certification, which will help you like to show prospective employers that you have the skill necessary to succeed in this rapidly expanding area of AI. And Catherine, thank you so much. And thank you so much for the wonderful presentation and your engaging presentation and amazing expertise sharing with us. And thank you everyone who has joined us today for this insightful webinar with our esteemed speaker, Catherine. We have learned so much with this immense potential of AI transforming the business and the role it plays in the evolution of Web3. Catherine, thank you so much for sharing your extensive knowledge and experience on the topic. We are grateful for your time and the expertise. As we wrap
Thank
up,
you.
yes. So as we wrap up, we hope you have gained an insightful and great insights and ideas on how to leverage AI and Web3 to drive innovation and growth in your own organization. And we encourage you to continue exploring and learning more about these technologies and to keep pushing boundaries of what is possible. So, thank you once again, Catherine, for sharing your expertise with us today. And thank you all for joining us today. We hope you have a great day ahead. And it was wonderful.
Great. There were some questions in the chat. Do we want to talk about those? I know Ivan has his hand up.
Oh, oh, I missed it. Okay, yeah,
No
sure. We
worries.
can go ahead. Yes.
Okay, so Ivan, your question is around my opinion on the current day and age AI can be used to improve other product services for a fashion startup, except supply chain management. So you can actually create, if you think of your drawings, you can program, so you can program the bot to actually do some of the drawings for you conceptually. Is that sort of, I'm not really clear on the question. And in the chat, I don't know if you want to, let me just.
I guess Web3.
Okay, so yeah, so Ivan, gotcha. So yes, you can train a bot to actually go ahead and do some of your drawings. You can also take the analytics on what's trending, so you don't have to sit and read a ton of magazines or be stuck on TikTok and Instagram taking a look on what's trending. You can actually set the parameters for the keywords for what to search. You can also go ahead then, and if you're just starting, you can use technology like AI and ML to go ahead and take things from Web3 because it's open source and then share those on your social media. So you're gaining followers, you're gaining influencers immediately. You can then also train the AI to focus on what are some key functions, hashtags that are working, who has a lot of followers, and maybe you want to approach them to be influencers, give them something for free because overnight you can become a sensation. So that was one thing that comes to mind. And then there was another question, and it was from Harsh. And you said the interview can be done by the bot, but if someone knows that the question already, it'll become very easy that the person can answer. So many people can clear the bot interview easily. Yes, you can also go ahead and add variabilities, right? You can look at a resume, scour for keywords, and then drill down a lot faster. So you're seeing whose resume is real and who's not. And of course, you can also add some variance to the question so it's not like you're stealing a math test in elementary school and copying. And I think that was
Got it.
it.
Yes. The next, it's just thanks. I don't know. I think we are done with the questions here. Yes,
Yes.
perfectly. Awesome. So thank you so much, Catherine. It
Thank
was
you.
a great sesh. Thank you so much for taking out the time.
You got it. Thank you. Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you. Thank you.
Okay.
Lovely. Bye bye.